What if your lowest moment became the place where God revealed his heart to you? What if, in your wilderness, you discovered that heaven was watching all along? This is the powerful, forgotten story of Hagar, the woman who called God El Roi, the God who sees. Hi friends, welcome to our channel. If you love inspiring biblical stories that strengthen your faith, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to be reminded that God still sees. Now, let's dive into the woman who called El Roi, the animated story of Hagar. Have you ever felt and seen like your prayers just bounce off the ceiling and your pain seems invisible to everyone around you? It's a lonely place, the wilderness of being overlooked. But what if I told you that once, in the ancient sands of Canaan, a woman met God in her own wilderness, and she gave him a name no one had ever spoken before? She called him El Roi, the God who sees me. This is her story, the story of Hagar. A long, long time ago, there lived a man named Abraham and his wife, Sarah. God had made a huge promise to Abraham that his descendants would be as countless as the stars in the night sky. But years rolled by, and Sarah remained childless. The vibrant hope they once held began to fade, and the laughter of promise turned into the heavy silence of waiting. One night, with a heart full of desperation, Sarah turned to her husband. "The Lord has kept me from having children," she said, her voice heavy with sorrow. "Go, sleep with my servant Hagar. Maybe I can build a family through her." Hagar was young, Egyptian, and fiercely loyal. She served Sarah with quiet dedication, never once imagining that her name would be woven into the grand story of God. But soon, the impossible happened. Hagar conceived. Life stirred within her, and for the very first time, she felt chosen. She felt seen. She felt important. But what started as gratitude slowly curdled into pride. The way Hagar looked at Sarah changed. Her eyes now held a hint of superiority. And in Sarah's heart, a fire of jealousy began to burn. "My servant despises me," she cried to Abraham. And Abraham, caught in the middle, simply replied, "She is in your hands. Do whatever you think is best." From that moment on, Hagar's life turned bitter. Sarah's treatment became harsh and bearable. Until one night, Hagar couldn't take it anymore. She fled. She ran into the vast and forgiving wilderness, taking the desert road that led back toward her home in Egypt. The sun scorched her by day, and the crushing silence haunted her by night. Exhausted and utterly alone, she collapsed by a spring of water. Her tears mixed with the dust as she whispered, "I just want peace. I just want to be seen." But she didn't know it yet. Heaven was already watching. Suddenly, a voice pierced the silence. "Hagar, servant of Sarah, where have you come from? And where are you going?" Startled, she looked up and realized she was standing before an angel of the Lord. Trembling, she answered, "I'm running away from my mistress, Sarah." The voice spoke again, gentle but firm. "Return to your mistress and submit to her, for I will greatly multiply your descendants. They will be too many to count. You are pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall call him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your misery." In that moment, everything changed. The desert no longer felt empty. The oppressive heat no longer felt so hopeless. Overwhelmed with a profound sense of awe, Hagar whispered, "You are the God who sees me, El Roi," because, as she said, "I have now seen the one who sees me." The spring where she stood was named Bir Lahai Roi, which means the well of the living one who sees me. Strengthened by this divine promise, Hagar returned. And just as the angel had said, months later, she gave birth to a son. Abraham named him Ishmael, meaning God hears. For a while, there was peace. Ishmael grew, and Abraham's tent, once so quiet, was filled with the sound of a child's laughter again. But years later, the truly impossible happened. Sarah, in her old age, conceived. She gave birth to Isaac, the long-awaited child of promise. And with his arrival, the tension between the two women flared up once more. One afternoon, Sarah saw Ishmael mocking little Isaac. In a fit of rage, she demanded of Abraham, "Drive out this slave woman and her son. The son of this slave will not share the inheritance with my son, Isaac." Abraham was deeply distressed. Ishmael was his son, too. But God spoke to him, saying, "Do not be troubled. Listen to what Sarah says, for it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. But I will make a nation of the son of the slave woman as well, because he is your offspring." And so, early the next morning, Abraham gave Hagar some bread and a skin of water. With sorrow in his eyes, he placed them on her shoulder and sent her and Ishmael away. They wandered into the wilderness of Beersheba, a cruel and endless expanse of sand and rock. Soon, the water ran out. The boy grew weak under the burning sun. Hagar couldn't bear to watch him suffer any longer. She laid him under a bush, walked a short distance away, and collapsed, weeping. "I cannot watch the boy die," she cried out in agony. But God heard the voice of the boy. And the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven, "What is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying where he is. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation." Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. She ran to it, filled the skin, and gave her son a drink. Hope returned, life returned, God was with them. Ishmael grew up right there in the wilderness, becoming a skilled archer, and just as God promised, his descendants would one day become great nations. In the quiet evenings, Hagar would often sit by the fire and remember that day at the spring, the moment she realized that even in her lowest, most desperate place, she had been seen by God. Her story whispers to us across time, God doesn't only see the kings and the prophets, He sees the forgotten, the rejected, the hurting. He sees the single mother struggling to make ends meet, the runaway who feels lost and alone, the one who cries quietly at night, thinking no one hears. He sees you. When you feel invisible, He is watching. When you feel unheard, He is listening. When you think you've been completely forgotten, He is near. The very same God who saw Hagar in her wilderness sees you in yours, in your waiting, and in your weeping. So if you ever wonder if heaven still remembers your name, remember hers. Remember Hagar, the woman who called God Elroy, the God who sees. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this moment with us. Every story has a heart, and I'd love to know which part of this one touched yours the most. Please, drop a comment below and let's share in the experience. If this story resonated with you, consider sharing it with your loved ones who might find some meaning in it too. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way, you'll be the first to know whenever we drop a new timeless story. Your support means the world and helps us continue to bring these narratives to life. Until next time, take care.